Hey everyone, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil, and it's time to talk House of the Dragon. I am super curious about this episode, guys, because last episode, a lot of good things happened. At least seemingly happened, or have been promised to happen. What do I mean? Like, Rhaenyra agreed to her father that she would marry Corlys's son as her duty, and while she may not be interested in the boy, it should bring Corlys back into the fold and reduce the threat that he takes his power and aligns with somebody else. Daemon came back, and instead of hanging on to the throne, the title of King of the Stepstones, he relinquished that throne to his brother. He gave the hammer of the crab feeder to his brother to add to the throne. Daemon seems back in the fold. We outed Otto. Otto is no longer the hand. It feels like all the right things are happening in Viserys' kingdom, and all that can make me think is something terrible is going to happen this episode, because if you've watched any Game of Thrones, the first lesson you learn is this is not a show where good things happen very often, and if they do happen, they're immediately followed by terrible things. This is a show where terrible things happen over and over and over again. So what's the terrible thing that's coming next? Is it just Viserys' death? Is that what throws everything into chaos? What else might it be? I don't know. Is Daemon going to re-propose that he be the one to marry Rhaenyra? I don't know where I don't know. Like I feel everybody sort of shifting their themselves around, trying to consolidate power. Everybody's basically anticipating the death of the king. But where everyone will be at the moment the king dies, what the alliances might be at that time, it's so hard to anticipate. So, yeah, I think it's just time to jump into this next episode. I don't know if there's going to be another time jump or whether we're following immediately upon the previous, but let's jump into it. This is episode 5 of House of the Dragon. Alright, no preamble, straight into it. While I enjoy this opening, I wish it was more. I wish it was less abstract. I know that it's probably the model of Valyria, and I know that these various discs are like house symbols and stuff, but it doesn't quite have the magic of the map from Game of Thrones, and how it was a slightly different intro each episode back then, depending on what places we would be in. This show is much more contained. It's always King's Landing, and sure, a couple of other places too, but so much of it is King's Landing.
Care for some company?
I'd rather ride alone.
Where are we? Right after I say we're always in King's Landing, we're in somewhere completely new. More beautiful landscape, though.
Husband?
Oh, we're in the Vale.
Or have you at last come to consummate our marriage? Or perhaps your brother has at last had his fill of your company. What will you do now? Craven!
Jeez. The royal puke bucket. Okay, so this guy's hand now. Thank you. I'm gonna need to be reminded of his name. He's not looking well. Dragonstone. She is princess of. So what's Otto up to?
I do not wish to see you go.
Oh, it's new.
And yet you made it possible. You chose Rhaenyra.
She swore her innocence. And I believed her.
You wanted to believe her, as did her father. The realm will not accept her, and to secure her claim, she'll have to put your children to the sword. She'll have no choice. You're no fool, and yet you choose not to see it.
So everyone's left King's Landing except Alicent. So Otto's going back to Old Town, I guess. No, this isn't Dragonstone. Or at least this isn't a Dragonstone I know. What is this? I feel like it's Mont Saint-Michel in northwest France. With some handy CG. At least that approach shot was. What's this? Is this Corlys's castle?
Where is Lord Corlys? He should be here to receive the king. What is
Where
the
is
meaning of
Corlys?
this, Lady Laenor? Is this how House Velaryon greets its king?
He has hastened to the Hall of Nine to await your grace's arrival.
Are we wedding Rhaenyra right here and now?
Lord Laris, the weather has been lovely.
Indeed. And yet it is a dark day for the realm. Your father was a good man.
As is yours, who took his place.
You are perhaps in need of an ally?
I'm the queen. I have no shortage of allies.
Naturally. Princess Rhaenyra, for example. Begging your pardon, your grace, I may be mistaken.
Oh, he's just...
It's just that on the very same night your father was dismissed, the Grand Maester delivered a tea to the...
Yeah, he's just stirring up shit.
At the direction of the king, as I understand it. What happiness it is to have been wrong.
This guy's got, oh, very obvious little finger vibes.
Come, cousin. Let us discover what might be had for breakfast.
Corlys's kids have grown up. I guess it is about 4 or 5 years since the first episode, isn't it, at this point? The Driftwood Throne.
I congratulate you, Lord Lionel. I can think of no man more suited to be the hand of the king.
That is very kind of you to say, Lord Corlys.
I wish to propose a marriage between your son, Selena, and my daughter and heir, the Princess Rhaenyra. It's long past time our houses were united in blood.
There are certain details I would wish clarified before the Princess Rhaenys and I could accept this most generous proposal.
They know.
What details?
They know they've got control.
We would like to know how the succession will be handled.
She and Selena's firstborn child, regardless of gender, will inherit the Iron Throne from her.
Might I have a chair brought in for you?
I do not require a chair.
Yes, you do.
At such time when their firstborn ascends the Iron Throne, he or she will do so bearing the name Targaryen. Dragons will rule the 7 kingdoms for the next 100 years.
We know that's the case, but is it because of this?
This is an equitable compromise.
I know this union is not what you would choose. Dare I say it is a matter of taste? I prefer roast duck to goose.
There are those who like goose very well.
I find it a bit greasy for my taste. I know that whatever agreement being struck up there will not change your appetites, nor will it change mine.
And what do you propose?
That we perform our duty to our fathers and to the realm. And when it's done, each of us dines as we see fit.
Okay. It's a marriage of politics. They're entering with the understanding, though. That's good.
Do they seem familiar?
They grew up together. Familiarity is not at issue. You know his true nature.
He is gay.
He's still young.
Rhaenyra's succession will be challenged. Knives will come out for her, her husband, and for their heirs.
Was I the duck or the goose?
I've come to meet my fate, and you make a jape of it.
You will need a sworn protector. And this is better than we could have hoped for.
Okay, I mean it's a
She has a paramour of her own.
It's a complication, but they've reached an understanding. It feels like it'll be a marriage of politics. And they both understand that they'll go their separate ways when they go to bed. They'll have the challenge of producing an heir still.
If there were another path, one that led to freedom. Would you tread it? Away from all of this. From the burdens and indignities of your inheritance, let us leave it all behind and see the world together.
Yeah, he's overstepping at this point.
You could marry me. It's for love, not for the crown.
I am the crown. It is my duty to marry, well, my marriage. It does not have to be the end.
So you can be my side piece.
I've soiled my white cloak. It is the only thing I have to my fucking name. I thought if we were married, I might be able to restore it.
You never had a chance, Sir Kristen. So they haven't done the marriage, but they're promised at this point. King's looking sick. Oh, he just collapsed. Maybe only months.
You've been summoned. The Queen.
Oh.
Concerns our dear Princess Rhaenyra. Please.
Even just sitting next to the Queen feels weird.
It is of course unthinkable for me to question the virtue of the princess, whom I hold in highest regard. But...
So she doesn't think Kristen did anything. She's just looking for inside information.
I'm not unaware that in a flush of youth, there may be errors made, breaches or rather lapses.
It happened, Your Grace.
Oh, he's just putting it out there.
I have committed it.
Oh, he's taking it. Man, he's honorable.
My oath has been broken. I deserve no consideration.
Super honorable. But what is she going to do with this info?
I would ask only this. You would sentence me mercifully to death.
Wow. Please just kill me. Yeah, she was just fishing for info on Daemon. But now she realizes Rhaenyra kind of lied to her. Or was very selective with the truth.
You may go.
Okay. She's not going to do anything about it. At least not yet. Was that his actual flesh?
To help him sleep.
Milk of the poppy. Yeah, man, that's his flesh. It's not grayscale, but it looks just as nasty.
Will I be remembered as a good king, Lionel? What will they say of me when the histories are written?
Well, it depends who writes the histories, right?
Is it not better to live in peace than to have songs sung after you are dead?
Perhaps. I often think that in the Crucible, I may have been forged a different man.
Many that are tested
fail.
Only wish to have been spared it.
It is perhaps best not to know.
And so you're forgotten. You certainly aren't remembered as Viserys the Great, Viserys the Conqueror, nor Viserys the Terrible. Wow.
Royal wedding celebrations.
No, I think those are both Valyrian dragons. Look at the eye roll.
Your presence is always such a pleasure, Lord Jason.
Am I allowed to kill lords when I become queen?
I must say, I was most distressed to hear of the
Vale.
Lady Rhea's tragic passing.
Her kind is not soon to be seen again.
Selena Valarian, the future king consort.
Quite the entrance. He's the one Kingsguard that doesn't need to wear a helmet.
My betrothed.
My betrothed.
All the duty and this guy with the crippled leg fascinates me. I want to know more about what he's up to. Who are the manipulators here, you know? Because right now it feels like everybody's playing by the rules. Oh, and here comes Daemon. Not announced. Just... Zero announcement. Yeah, bring him a chair.
Be welcome. As we join together in celebration, tonight is only its beginning.
with House Targaryen and
What does he see? What? What? Is he having a stroke? Oh, no. The queen. She's beginning to realize her power. She's asserting her power. She knew what she was doing.
The beacon on the high tower. Do you know what color it glows when Old Town calls its banners to war?
Green.
Oh. So is that her way of declaring war? Oh, man.
7 days of tournament and feasting.
All right, more tournaments. Many more big days of background extras.
A royal wedding.
What? I love how little Daemon speaks. He does huge scenes without saying a word, and all you can do is put your own thoughts into his mouth, wondering what he might actually be thinking and saying.
I was never much of a dancer.
It's not much different to combat.
We shall hope for a different outcome.
I can actually see these two, you know, while not being in love, like having a marriage of respect, and they might really work well together. She came in, she interrupted, and she's going to leave?
know that Old Town stands with you.
And the sides are beginning to form. And of course, she's going to support her own son over her friend who's going to kill her son. Because that idea has been planted in her head.
In the Vale, men are made to answer for their crimes. Even Targaryens. It was no accident.
Are you confessing some guilt, Sir Gerald?
I am making an accusation.
The truth is, I'm glad you've come. I wish to speak to you about my inheritance. She stood to inherit all of Runestone. Did she not?
What house is Sir Lionel? I'm trying to remember. I may have to rewatch some episodes. Oh.
Has anybody ever told you you're nearly as pretty as your brother?
Well, a Targaryen prince, a dashing knight and a dragon rider. You appear to be every young maiden's dream.
That's only because you don't know me
yet. This is a good thing. She knows your secret. And now you know hers.
Okay. Ah.
They make a handsome match, don't they?
What?
Sir Joffrey Lonmouth. But the Knight of Kisses, they call me, though I don't know why.
Oh, are these two going to be ending up facing off in the tournament?
If you have something to say, Sir Joffrey, speak it.
We can't like anyone named Joffrey.
But we should swear to each other to guard them and their secrets. Because if those are kept safe, and so are we all.
I'm fascinated by the whole energy of this episode. Because, well, we'll talk about it in the after credits, but this is all just how it goes.
Idinon de Mario sut vetila meri isa ruibar. Nuko kepo miseri robakas. Sadris dorot unumakas, siempre siris ohis.
What? What happened? What happened? What is going on? Who's fighting who? Whoa! Who's fighting who? Oh! Kristen and Joffrey. Whoa! Oh no! Oh my god, the chaos! king's about. Oh. Oh my god. Christian just snapped. That was his lover. I gave him that ring.
We stand here tonight in thanks and praise to join two souls as one.
We're just doing
Warrior,
we're marrying them tonight, all of a sudden.
hear now their vows.
I am yours, and you're mine, whatever may come.
I am yours and you are mine. Whatever may come.
Laenor of House Velaryon, Rhaenyra of House Targaryen.
He's
to
gonna
be
kill
man
himself.
And wife.
Yeah.
Now and forever.
Sir Kristen.
Oh my god. Everything's happening. Blood is still on the ground. And the rats are feeding on it already. Man. Until the last 10 minutes there, what I wanted to talk about was how the energy of this is so different from what we remember of Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones was so chaotic. There was so much turnover, there was so much death, there was so much turmoil. We were in war almost, it felt, from the beginning. And here, these first few episodes have felt quite different. Everything is as it should be. Sure, there's politics, there's maneuvering, there's differences, and there's infighting, and there's annoying family that you can't get rid of. But when you see a greeting feast like this, it's all just sort of by the book. But there's all these things happening just below the surface, or in the corners of the room. It's all the things that are unsaid. It's Alicent's entrance halfway through the king's speech. It's the color of her dress, which we wouldn't even know symbolizes anything except for that comment. It's the little casual conversations in the Godswood by this new guy. I have to go back and get his name, but the guy with the crippled leg who sort of put the seed in Alicent's ear about Rhaenyra getting that tea. It feels much more political and contained, because we're spending so much of every episode in King's Landing instead of following dozens of stories in all parts of Westeros. We're really dealing with the immediate circle around the throne, and it makes for a different story, and I really dig that. It's got a different energy. It's more political, there's more intrigue, I love the idea of this marriage, sort of convenience, but more of duty. And they had, and Rhaenyra and Laenor, they've got this Laenor, they've got this understanding. It's like, you're not into me, I'm not into you. We can each do our own thing, but let's do our duty. Let's serve our fathers. Let's serve the throne, and we'll both be cool with that. And it would have worked, except 3 out of 4 parties were cool with it. Joffrey was also cool with it, but Sir Kristen was not. Kristen had this romantic dream that he could persuade Rhaenyra to abandon her family and abandon the throne and leave all of that behind and live a life of love in Essos. And that's not what Rhaenyra wants. Part of her wants to rule. Part of her has gotten used to this idea. She was thrust into this, but now she's like, it has been promised to her. She's been preparing for it. She feels she can do a good job, and she wants to do it. and she doesn't want to leave that behind. And all of that is awesome. And then we went to Game of Thrones. We had chaos in the last 10 minutes. Sir Criston couldn't keep his shit together, and he beat Joffrey to death. Sir Criston's storyline this whole episode was really interesting because, first he's dealing with the fact that Rhaenyra is being promised. And then he pitches his counter proposal and gets shut down. And then the Queen calls for him. And the Queen was fishing for details about anything that may have happened between Rhaenyra and Daemon, but Sir Criston is like an incredibly honorable man, and he immediately admits his hookup with Rhaenyra and doesn't beg forgiveness. All he begs for is death as opposed to torture. But he realizes he's broken his vow of chastity. He's not worthy of the position. He's sullied the cloak, which is the only thing he has to his name. But that's not what Alicent does. She doesn't punish him. She doesn't report him to the king. She keeps this piece of knowledge, and she's beginning to become a much more political animal than she was when she first married Viserys. That's for sure. Yeah, I think she's becoming very politically savvy, and she has this info. Her father has been forced away from King's Landing. He's no longer the Hand. I know everyone was quick to jump on Otto as devious and crafty, but I've never fully felt that way. Like, I get where he's coming from. Sure, he wants his grandson to be king, but he also wants to avoid the inevitable war, at least in his mind, that would accompany Rhaenyra becoming queen in Aegon's stead. If Rhaenyra's queen, not everyone's going to stand for it. And then sides will be chosen and civil war follows. And it feels like that's where we're going. But if Aegon is named heir, then nobody needs to die. No one needs to go to war. I get why Otto has been doing everything he's done. And sure, it's great that it's his grandson, but I think half the reason he sent his daughter to Viserys when the first queen died, Emma died, was, okay, we have another chance here. We have another chance to produce a male heir to the king. And Viserys is what we would call a progressive. He's like, you know what, we're going to get away with the firstborn son thing. We're just going to go with the firstborn thing from now on. And because this isn't just about Rhaenyra, when he was talking to Corlys, he's like, okay, here's the new rules. They have kids, they are Valyrians, but when one of them succeeds Rhaenyra, when the firstborn, male or female, succeeds Rhaenyra, then they will take the name Targaryen. This is the Targaryen dynasty, whether or not the kids have that last name. This is no different than Queen Elizabeth. This is no different than the House of Windsor. I don't know what the civilian names of Prince Charles and his kids are, but I don't think they're... Maybe they are Windsors. Maybe they do take their mother's last name, but what was Prince Philip's last name? Anyway, my point being, you can make up whatever rules you want when you're the king. And it's just setting a new precedent, setting a new tradition. But not everyone will stand for that. No one ever does when there's a drastic change like that. And so Sir Criston can't stand the idea of Rhaenyra marrying for anything other than love and being with anyone other than him. The only reason he broke his vow of chastity was because he felt this could become something honorable. He looked beyond his station. And as much as Rhaenyra enjoys his company, he would essentially be her side piece. And he's a jealous type, clearly, because he just beat a man's face to pulp. Not because he was even the other man, but he couldn't go and kill the future king consort, so he killed the future king's consort's lover. I think that was his rationale. that and the man's name was Joffrey. We can never like a Joffrey on this show. Not after Game of Thrones. That name has too many connotations. I don't know if that's that name from the book, but you hear a Joffrey in this world and you're like, oh, he's gonna be a dick. So yeah, Sir Criston he's a romantic, and he's an idealist, and he's honorable, and he would rather die than see Rhaenyra with another man. And so he's about to kill himself in the Godswood, and then at the very end, Alicent stops him. And obviously we don't know what she's going to say, where that goes, but Alicent has a plan for him, I think. I think it's more than please don't kill yourself. I think Alicent is beginning to formulate her own plan. She is the voice of Old Town in King's Landing now. She is not alone, but she needs allies. And she's beginning to perhaps foster those on purpose. She's making that a goal. But yeah, wow. And Viserys may be dead. Viserys collapsed at the very end of this. They decided to rush the wedding. They just did it right after the welcome feast. Instead of waiting a week, they did it right now. The blood is still on the floor from the beating. This is not in front of massive crowds. There's no pageantry. It's like, no, we've got to do this now. Before anyone changes their mind. Before... Maybe Viserys himself said, I don't have too much time. We need to do this before I die. But I feel like chaos started spreading in the last 10 minutes of this episode. And if the king dies, the next episode is going to be nothing but chaos. Forget tournaments, forget feasts, forget pageantry, forget the quiet politics of regular government. This is going to be picking sides, factions, the wild card of Daemon and whatever he intends to do. He was hitting on Rhaenyra, he was hitting on Lady, whatever her name, the Laenor's sister, Laena? The 12-year-old girl that the king could have married. Yeah, he's just throwing his chaotic energy in there, and we have no idea what Daemon's intentions are. He's a bit of a romantic himself, but he may have just inherited Runestone by staging the death of his lady wife. Not staging, causing the death of his lady wife, but it can't be proved that it was him. No one saw them together. Probably. I'm not even sure exactly how he startled her horse. I mean, she's supposed to be an incredibly good rider, but all of a sudden the horse was rearing, she was on her back with a broken back, and he went and crushed her head. But she's not even she's just the heir to one of the minor houses in the Vale. She's not heir to the Vale and the Eyrie itself. But anyway, Daemon's taking a little power for himself. But yeah, who knows what he's going to do when Civil War erupts. I don't feel this is going to be as simple as Aegon's camp, Rhaenyra's camp, politics and fighting ensue. For real story, you need a third party to increase the number of potential dynamics and the potential for betrayal and all of these sorts of things. And Daemon makes a perfect third spoke in that triangle. So yeah, I am really curious to see what happens in the back half of this season. We are halfway through now. We are 5 episodes out of 10 in. So there's our midway point. The king has fallen, Rhaenyra is wed, and who knows what's going to happen next. But, well, if you've read the book, you might know, but don't tell me in the comments. Let's keep that area spoiler-free, please. But yeah, I am so psyched for next week. Next week's going to be a blast. There's going to be... I feel like it's finally time for stuff to, like, kick off, and we're finally going to start seeing some characters die, I think. Maybe not next episode, but before the season's done, some of our favorite characters from this season, I think they'll be gone. In true Game of Thrones style. Anyway, thank you guys so much for spending a little time with me here today on Neil Talks. Love your thoughts and comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, everybody, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.